Hello, the internet, and welcome back to Road Hazard. Today, well, not today, tomorrow morning, hopefully, but kind of today, for you today. Anyway, we're gonna put that V8 in that car or die trying. By which, of course, I mean sweat and bleed and all kinds of fun crap. So, we actually tried a little bit. I'll insert that clip now. Spent a good 4 hours on the thing, and we didn't make too much progress. We ran into a bunch of calamities. So basically, all of the accoutrements on there, new pilot bushing, all that nonsense. Got the damper on there, headers. The valve covers are permanently affixed, but we could not get the engine swung in quite far enough to get it to mate with the transmission. So what we're gonna do is take the front bumper assembly off, probably, to give us some more room to get in there and get the new engine in. So we fiddle farted with it for, like I said, probably 2 hours of the 4 hours. So not quite as simple as I would like. Yeah, so we tried, didn't quite go as planned. The nose of the car is in the way, so it's my job today to pull the front bumper off of this thing so that we can get the 289 into the engine bay where it belongs. Because, well, it's rained a couple of times since the last time I was out here, which is what's halted work, mostly. And, you know, you can see it's been accumulating a little in our pristine old engine that is totally reusable and not at all garbage. So, you know, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, we're going to cram ourselves under this Fox here and see if we can't get that bumper off of there without too many busted knuckles, swear words, and or calamities. So let's just get cracking. So there's quite a bit going on up here, if I'm being honest with you. Lots of brackets, bolts, bits, and bops. Now, as you can see, when we pulled the engine, we had really no problem with marring up the front of this bumper because, well, it matches the rest of the car now. It's just hammered ass. Which reminds me, I finally found out what happened to this side of the car. You know, all these fun scratches, dents, scrapes, all this. Yeah, I ran the Carfax on it, and the kid creamed a fence, and somebody's mailbox just tore them both up. So, great. Anyway, we're going to try and get this out, because behind this is the crash bar, obviously, this big piece of steel. That's got to come out before we can get in there. So I got to move all these tools and start unbolting this thing. Now, luckily, radiator and all that stuff is bolted to the core support, which hypothetically should not have to come out. So I'm hoping we don't have to do that because I don't want to. So that's where we're at. We're going to get started on that, get all this stuff unplugged, the headlights and turn signals and stuff, because they work, and I'd like them to continue to work. So we're not going to do the tensile strength tester 9000, which is just unbolt everything and then rip as hard as we can. We're actually going to undo it. I have the extended hood prop deployed. This is a factory option from Ford, the Spud Wrench hood prop. You just put it in the adjustment slot on the shock tower, and then wedge it on the washer, and the hood will basically stay vertical. And it's not like flexing or broken or nothing. Like, it is literally, that is just functional. You don't even have to take the hood off to get the engine out of this car. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? But yeah, so I guess I'll get started. So we're partially through the bumper getting off. LMR has a great video on how to remove the front bumpers on Fox bodies. That's what I watched to get as far as I am. So far, only one busted knuckle. Your car will be simpler than mine because mine was put together by a monkey who was simultaneously trying to football. So there's self-tappers rammed into stuff where there shouldn't be self-tappers. There's a whole nother piece of cross member that was like booger welded in. So I'm having to work around that. So I'll kind of show you where we're at. We have most of our separation here. And then all these bolts are undone. All the electrical connections are undone. Separated here. Splash guards are both out. So what we're struggling with right now is, and I have them soaking in PB. 1, 2, 3. I just got PB in my hair. That's fun. Anyway, those 3 self-tappers are currently what's holding the bumper onto the car still. So the monkey who put this together, i.e. the lying teenager, was trying to keep it from flapping, I guess. I really don't know. But those are completely seized. And so were a couple of the splash shield screws. You can see I just had to manhandle that one out. I had to break a small piece of it off, which is unfortunate. And then another piece broke off down here that I wasn't even trying to break. Just broke, so that sucks. There's that booger welded cross member thing. Not factory Fox body material, believe it or not. I'm probably just not going to put the splash guards back in, if I'm being honest, because I don't care. But I will be putting the mud flaps back on because those are kind of neat, and they say Mustang on them, and they're currently the only piece of the car that says Mustang. So we're going to ignore the splitting bushings on the sway bar. Those are perfect. We're also going to ignore the almost completely disappeared brake pads that the kid said he replaced because he's a lying monkey football. Here's the end of those vacuum lines that disappear into the fender, so we're probably just gonna do that. Put those in the pile. Now we're completely done with smog delete, except for that piece. Yeah, I mean, you know, we're getting there. I'm gonna let those soak for a little bit, and then we'll hit them again and see if they want to come out. Well, I had them soaking for like 15 minutes. I've been coming back and prying on them every once in a while, and they're starting to strip, so they're not coming out, so I'm no longer asking politely. I had to mangle the bottom grill guard thing. Just destroy it, unfortunately. So what I'm going to try to do is ignore that. You'll notice there's also a couple little squares. I tried getting them with the grinder. I mean, I could not get those out. So I'm going to buzz them off with the Sawzall now that they're there. And then when we put this back on, we'll probably also use self-tappers because I am also a monkey football. So I'm just kidding. We'll think of something that isn't that. But now that we got that out of the way, there's the big one, which is unfortunately this behemoth. So we'll just run these 3 bolts out. So, you know, there's one. Not right there. That's just a hole. And then we'll run these 3 bolts out. Again, nothing. And the front bumper will come off. And, you know, no bumper. And we'll be able to get the engine in and out. Tomorrow. Yes. That took significantly less time than I thought it was gonna. But hey, it's off. No crash bar, which means now when the engine crane is in there, you know, the only thing it'll have to bounce off is the radiator. We don't need that. That's fine. Yeah. Anyway, that's off. So I'm done for the night. Sun's set, actually. We've got the last like 5 minutes of
light because she's already gone down. And we got her done. So tomorrow you will see that engine in that car, and if I have anything to say about it, it will be running. So I guess we will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, we've been out here for about 4 hours. The engine is in the car. It's mostly connected to the transmission. I gotta tighten up the bell housing bolts and get the last two in, get the starter in, that kind of stuff. But we got the distributor stabbed in. It's sitting on new motor mounts. We just gotta get some new nuts. And there's that. I didn't film any of that because, like I've said it before, out of respect to my buddy. Like Austin's fine being unfilmed, but so did I just ruin that whole thing or did I unruin it? We're gonna find out. It's in there now, but it is a work day, so I gotta get changed and be at work in less than an hour. But yeah, we got a lot done. I will say calamity was the name of the game today, as it usually is. We had the engine in and out of this car 5 times before we realized that it wasn't ever going to fit because of the, there it is, the mid plate. Now, apparently C4 mid plate and the T5 mid plate are a little bit different. We compared them, but it makes a little bit of a difference. So this is the T5 mid plate. Obviously the C4 one's in the car. On this side, there's a little nub basically that goes like that, and the speedometer cable was hitting it right here, preventing it from going into the car at all. So we buzzed this off with a death wheel, made some space because this one's all bent up and it's like a millimeter thick. It's a nightmare. So we wanted to use the nice one and got it in there. Just enough clearance, fits just about barely. Headers fit around the steering shaft with just a little bit of clearance, which is great. Oil filter clears, oil pressure adapter fits, the fuel pump's gonna fit. Everything's gonna fit. Small block in a small block. I know, shocking. But got GT40 heads, got new motor mounts, got an Edelbrock intake, got them headers. This thing's gonna scream. So, like I said, we installed the distributor, all that's good. All I gotta do now is plug everything back in wiring wise, which is the only thing I like about 80s cars is they made that kind of easy. It's just plugs. So everything plugs back in. I gotta hook up vacuum advance, get a carburetor on there, rig up a fuel system, figure out the serpentine system, and then throw the starter in, put the battery back in, crank this guy up, and make lots of noise because open shorty headers. So it's been a labor of love, but we're gonna get it. I promise you, we're gonna get it. Man, why do I do this? Hey everybody, we're back again. It's the morning. I've been to town twice already to get stuff that I forgot. So hopefully we're done doing that. It's already like 11. I got up at 8. All we've done today so far, like I said, is go get hardware for the new motor mounts and a new oil pressure sender. Being installed was unkind to this paint. Some of that'll clean up, but now what I'm gonna do today is get this chain out of here, obviously, and then start putting the car back together. We got to figure out our serpentine setup on the non-serpentine engine. That'll be fun, but not impossible. You'll notice the engine, I don't actually know if you can see on camera. It sits a little cockeyed to the left, just a little bit. And that's because there's like a guide pin on the motor mount down there. I don't know if you can see that. But it kind of prevents it from sitting all the way flush. It's just not lined up properly because aftermarket parts.
So, two ways we can go about this. We can grind it or cut it off or ignore it. And I'm going to do that one. I got new spark plug wires too because there's the cap. These are the ones that came off the Mustang, and they look pretty new, which is great. Unfortunately, the mice started eating the boots on some of these, and not all of them, but a couple of them are really bad. That might be the worst one. Yeah, that's the worst one. So I'll probably just replace this plug wire, actually, because this is the only one that's chewed. And then just send it. I have a big pile of spark plug wires on the spark shelf over there. So, yeah, I mean, we'll place that one plug wire, and then we'll throw the cap and rotor in there. Well, the rotor's already in. We'll throw the cap on. Try and get that serpentine set up. And then what we're going to do, I think, is disconnect spark and fuel and crank the engine for, I don't know, a little bit. We'll see. And try and build some oil pressure, because this engine has been sitting. This engine's been sitting for about 2 years. So, and, you know, it's got a new oil pump and all that stuff. It's completely dry right now. So, excuse me. We'll dump some oil in it and crank it. Build some pressure. I'll watch the gauge in the car because we know it'll work. And then once we have some oil pressure, we'll fire it up. We'll set the timing. We'll do some digital magic on the carburetor, and then she'll run. I'm going to try and find some earplugs too, because open headers are loud, right? That's pretty much a fact of life. But open shorty headers, unsafe for your hearing loud. And I'm already pretty deaf, thanks to the government, so going to try and find some earplugs. I don't care if you think I'm a wimp. That's pretty much all there's left to do here. We got the motor stabbed in yesterday. Got it all hooked up to the bell housing bolts. That would have been bad. And the starter. So they're kind of loose in there. We just got to tighten them down. So do that in the starter. I got some seat covers, and I have a funny little joke thing for the air cleaner lid that I think is kind of funny. But we'll get to that in a minute. So for now, let's get cracking on that. Oh, we gotta put the nose back on eventually too, but not for our first fire up. We sure don't. I wanted a little bit of motivation to kind of start us off here, so get out of there. Yes. Now it kind of looks like an engine. Are we gonna clear the hood? We'll find out. Okay, I made a little bit of progress, so I figured I'd show you guys what I've done so far. Fuel pump in, wiring mostly reconnected. The throttle bracket's connected-ish. It's not tight yet. I need to do some adjustments. It's not there yet. I've reconnected some vacuum lines and plugged in the distributor. Obviously, plug wires are done. 3 different sets of plug wires to make this work. The blue set is what was on the 302. This gray one here is just one that I had that fit because number 7, or what is this? Number 6 was chewed up by rats. So I just had another wire in the garage. I have a bunch of spare wires. And then number 7 requires the use of a 90-degree spark plug boot with the GT40 headers and heads. So this one is a 90-degree, and that's that. So we have our Frankenstein wire set in, firing orders checked, good to go. Now I figure we'll start bolting the rest of this crap together. I might clean up the wires a little bit just to make it pretty, but
maybe not at the same time, because basically all I've done right here is use the looms that I have to keep the wires off of the header. You know, so that'll probably just stay like that forever. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it.
Are you sure about that?
Water neck needs to go on, obviously. All the throttle linkage needs to get figured out. I think I need to use the other bolt on that mount to bring this back a little bit. So that works with that. I've got some more vacuum lines to hook up. And then put the starter in, put the last 2 bell housing bolts in, get those tight. I've got body grounds and a chassis ground for the motor. So we're getting close to being able to fire this thing, which is pretty slick. So we'll I'll check back in with you in a little bit when I've got a little bit more done. Okay, all the bell housing bolts are in and tight. The rest of the wiring is done, I think, except for the alternator because it's not there yet. Got the water neck on. Fuel line is run. Got a filter in there. Plugs are roughly where I want them to be, plug wires. Throttle's hooked up. The cruise control is hooked back up. We're getting close, guys. This is what I'm trying to say. Timing should be in the ballpark of where it needs to be.
Are you sure about that?
I need to do some fiddling, but now is the fun part, which is trying to figure out how to get the serpentine system to work. So, you know, we're thrilled. Not thrilled. It took me about 45 minutes, but I think I got it. Everything appears to line up anyway. So, I just need to finish tightening up the fan bolts, and then we can throw the belt on. I still have to put the starter in, and then fill it with oil. There's no oil in it. Can't forget that. And we should be able to crank it to build some oil pressure. And then we'll hook up all the heater hoses and radiator hoses after that. And yeah, it's coming together. Slow but sure. But that wasn't as complicated as I thought it was going to be. It was still complicated, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So we'll call it a win. But we'll get you back in here once everything else is figured, I suppose. Here's the current dilemma. We're all wrapped up here, except for crank pulley, right? That's the most important one. Here's the problem. This is a socket out of my spare socket drawer. I have 3 that are exactly the same size. That's too long. And then I have a couple of these giant nuts, and that's too short. So I know that I need something between those 2 lengths, just about the middle. And then it'll be spaced perfectly. Let's see how crafty we can be. Back from the hardware store, got like 3 different sizes of spacers, found some that worked. They're in there now, spaced out just about perfectly. I mean, I might be a 64th of an inch off. So it's gonna work. Now I can put the belt on. I got the lower rad hose on, got the upper rad hose on. The charging system, throw some oil in it. We can fire it up. There's no coolant in it, obviously. I mean, it's close, you know. It's almost a car again. Minus that part, but we can do that later. Okay, so I did end up jacking the car up and sawzalling that little nub off. Just kind of felt better about it, so I went ahead and did it. It only took 2 minutes, so it was worth the time. The belt is on. Got the upper rad hose on there. I mean, this is basically a car. So we're gonna put the starter in, and then hook up the alternator, and I think we'll have a car here, folks. We can fire it up. Okay, so starter is in. I'm putting oil in it now, and I'm gonna go inside and grab the key. We're gonna crank it with the ignition coil disconnected for a little while. I mean, we're gonna fire this thing up, check for leaks. Probably gonna have a few, that's okay. We'll fix those, but hopefully the timing is ish where it needs to be and it'll just come to life. So fingers crossed. Okay, there's oil in it. Now, just finished filling her up. So now I'm going to check it real quick. And then after I know that it's gootin' full, we'll make some noise. Wrong house. This is that crazy dipstick we had to bend up ourselves. So hopefully it actually... Yep. Good and full. Now, the interesting part. Oh, there's a wrench down there. Oh boy, I'm never getting that back. Oh man, this might belong to the car now. Yeah. Ha! It's the 1/2 inch too. Let's go crank some oil pressure into it. Nothing in the way of the fan, right? Yep, alright. This is exciting. Hopefully, you know, it still cranks. I'm not worried about the battery being dead, but you know, maybe I ruined something. Oh, never mind. Alright. Is it moving? I can't tell. I can definitely smell gas. Oh, the fuel pump's working. Yep. Oh, that's a bad leak. Okay. That's fuel everywhere. That's why I can smell gas. Holy crap. Yeah, that's leaking horrendously. Okay, that would have been a massive fire, so I'm glad we smelled that. Let's fix that real quick. Well, I was hooking the alternator up and I forgot to disconnect the battery. I grounded something out. Now the entire car has no power, so I gotta look for a blown fuse or something. And I'll be honest with you fellas, the sun is gone and I'm exhausted. I have been out here all day. We did make some killer progress today, though. Ah, man, am I really gonna give up right now? I'm one fuse away from an automobile. Okay, fine. I will check the ones in the block in the car. And if it's not one of those, if it's one of the like fusible links that's spaghetti wired into this car, nope. This is probably the worst lighting imaginable. But if I just kind of hold them up like that, I can see whether or not they're blown real easy. So we're just gonna pull these out one by one and look for a blown fuse. And we're gonna pray it is one of these, because if it's not, I'm gonna cry. Not that one. Oh man, this sucks. Nope. 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 It doesn't appear to be any of these fuses, so. Not today, Satan. I'm trying really hard not to count my chickens before they're hatched here, but I think I might have found the problem. There's a fusible link, and that's what I was looking for. The wire was just wrapped around no connector, so I think that might have been my problem. Not to brag or anything, but that fixed it. I don't think I've ever solved an electrical problem on the first try before. Makes me feel pretty cool. So if I do this, yeah, we have crankage. I need to test for spark and then jam some fuel in it. See if we can make some noise. Okay, here's where we're at. I tested the coil. Coil's good. I did the Omi trick. If you ever watch Vice Grip Garage, he does it all the time. I just did that. Coil's good. However, I'm not getting 12 volts to the coil with the key rolled forward. So I tried scraping up those contacts. That didn't help a whole lot. Now the battery's pretty much dead. So I'm going to throw the battery on the charger while I'm at work. And then when I come back, we'll try again. But I think that might have, I don't know. We might run a hot wire directly from the battery over to the positive side of the coil, just to make sure that's why we're not getting spark. And then if that works, then, well, we'll just leave it there forever. Yep. So that's the plan. We know we're getting fuel, and we just need some spark. I have another, that's how you know I'm a Ford guy. I have another DuraSpark box, and I threw this one in there, and that also didn't work. So I know it's not the DuraSpark box. I wanted a victory though before I left, so. The seats have been reupholstered. So we tried a new coil, even though the other one was good, and shocker, that didn't work. I even tried putting the other carburetor back on it and plugging in the smog little doohickeys. That didn't work. I tried cleaning the engine ground. That didn't work. I tried cleaning the chassis ground. That didn't work. So I don't know what to do. I can do mechanical problems all day long. Up, down, sideways, diagonal. I got it. I can't do electrical diagnosis. I can't see the colors. I'm already like 4 days overdue on this video, and I can't figure it out. Okay, fellas, here's where we're at. I've been chasing some wires, did some stuff, did some things, found a couple of mice chews, repaired those. The distributor was 180 degrees out, which I didn't think it was because it wasn't backfiring at all, but whatever. It was. So flipped that around, cranked it, and it barked. So I know it's going to run. All we got to do is get there. Now, the battery's on the charger, so we got to wait. But I promise, we're going to fire this mamma jamma up. And just based off the little spit I got, I can tell it's going to be rowdy. So, while we wait, I guess we'll top up the coolant, button everything up, we'll throw the air cleaner on it, and we'll get ready to drive this car. So, another one of those, needless, oh, it's going to be suspenseful for you things, because you're only going to have to wait like 30 seconds. But anyway, what I'm going to do is get cleaned up out here and go drink 11,600 beers to celebrate. On a Thursday. I gotta upload this video tomorrow. Oh my god. Maybe I'll edit. Maybe that's what I'll go to. I'll get a jump start on editing. Maybe. We'll see. Check that out, huh? We got PCV hooked up. We got our totally legitimate air cleaner lid there. Got our 289 badges. Got our seat covers. A cassette deck tape. See, this is all stuff that I did off camera because I needed a win because this car was beating my ass so hard. So got these seat covers for like $10. It was a steal.
And then I got that at the junkyard. Yeah. It's just about ready. I just threw some more coolant in it. That's why there's water all over the ground. Coolant. Yeah, we'll get it fired up tomorrow once the battery's charged, but I cannot wait to show you guys how rowdy this thing is. It's bananas. I can't wait to hear this thing sing fully. Not just like the little ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, you know, that I got earlier. I literally just got home from work, haven't even changed or nothing. Grabbed the battery off the tender, threw it in the car. Let's see if it's got the meat to start. The seat's so far back. Now I can reach the clutch. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Great oil pressure. Yes! Mamma mia! Look at that oil pressure, it's great! I guess I know how to build a V8. Oh! Oh! Yeah! Hot mama. It's alive! Here we are. Might need to do some fiddling with the idle, huh? But now that it's no longer screaming at me, thank you for watching this episode of Road Hazard. I got really pissed at a bunch of different points during this episode, but I think the end result was totally worth it. It scoots good and it's loud. Yeah, oh man. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Maybe let me know what you think we should do with this car. Exhaust? That's happening. Suspension? Eventually. More horsepower? For sure. Eventually. But short-term stuff. Maybe we'll ponder on that. Thanks for watching.